ways incorporated. If you find Earth boring, just the same old same thing, come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated. If you find Earth boring, just the same old same thing, come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated. If you find Earth boring, just the same thing, come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated. Come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated. Come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated. Come on, sign up with outer space ways. Come on, sign up with outer space ways. Come on, sign up with outer space ways incorporated.
All right. There we go. Nice little groove to bring us in. If you find Earth boring, the same old, same thing, sign up with Outer Spaceways. That comes from Brad Jones, the impeccable bassist. And of course, reference there, Sun Ra, for our first copyright notification. Welcome, everybody. We're back here on Thursday. It's legit. It's legit. We put that record out. We're good. Back here on Thursdays, 5 o'clock, for Experiments, Words and Music. Selected is the name of the show. And it's a special week because it's not just me and Fabian hanging out listening to music, which I do love, but we have a special guest with us this week, Mr. Nabate Isles. Nabate, welcome.
How y'all doing? Happy holidays to you and your families. Pleasure to be here on the show with you, Louis and Fabian.
All right, Mr. Brown, how are you? Fabian Brown at an undisclosed location.
It's always undisclosed, Louis. I'm doing well. I'm excited to have Nabate on. Nabate, thank you for your time, man. I know you could be doing 1,001 different things, but you're hanging out with me and Louis on a Thursday jam, so I really appreciate that, and I'm excited to have you here.
Pleasure. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Here's some great music. And Brad Jones, shout out to Brad Jones. I've known him since I was 15 years old. He was a teacher at the Harlem School of the Arts, where that was a place where I've been at since I was 8 years old, a place that cultivated me, gave me access to the arts. And Brad Jones ran the jazz band, actually. He was a director for one of the director, it was him, J.D. Parron, and Kelvin Bell. So those are the three, heavy cats. And, such an honor to know Brad. And then I played with Brad a few years later with his group, Alias. And then he was also on my first album, Eclectic Excursions. He was a part of that. So he's someone that I've known and worked with for so many years. And I know he's doing well out in Italia with his little daughter. I think his daughter's 4 years old now, I believe. And everything. So, it's beautiful,
One of the things I love about how Louis puts these playlists together, it's like something always magical occurs, something always magical happens. And so when you put in the chat, when the music came on, one of my mentors, I was like, get out of here, small world. It comes full circle, Louis.
I had no idea. I had no idea. I do want to point out, I'm going to ask you guys to move the chat over to your personal devices, because the chat notifications do sometimes show up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
It might be live streaming your chat. Another little tidbit from that one, I had no idea, Nabate. It's so great that I accidentally selected that from the archives. That's from a record that Brad did with us called Avant Lounge. And as I was putting it together, I noticed that the great Nate Smith is on drums on that record. So
Yes.
I urge
Yeah, he
people to check
introduced
that
us.
out.
Nate introduced us. So shout out to Nate Smith. Real
There
talk.
we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
All in the family. We're lucky to be connected with you folks, is all I can say. I know there's a whole network of musicians out there. People know each other, and you know, we're just lucky to be in the mix and to try to have a little central point where people can hang out together. We got a lot to get to. We're gonna play some music from some different Ropeadope artists. I want to hear Nabate's comments on the style, but most of this is about Nabate's new album coming up, In Motion, in late January 27th, and there's an unreleased track coming out on this show that we're going to play. We're going to talk about that, but let's jump into some music to keep it moving, and we'll come back and chat after.
There's the blues as in a mood where you say, I'm blue, that means you're sad. Yeah. But then there's the blues as music. You can say, do do dee 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 do 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 dee. Now that's sad. But if you say, do do dee dee do 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 do.
love how every week people get to like accidentally see my desktop, and you know, it's tricky. It's tricky. That's all I can say, folks.
I didn't see your desktop, but just saying.
On the live stream, that's, you know, in order to use my mic in VR, I need to be able to turn a patch off. So I go back to the patch, and then I have to quickly put the full screen back up. So you get to see some files. If you dig through these and watch them from beginning to end, you can see Lewis's desktop. There's a sales pitch for you.
Oh my goodness.
Little bit of a couple of trumpet players, Mr. Russell Gunn, and of course Maurice Bown. And Mr. Bown, I want to pass the mic over to you.
I mean, yeah, just to kind of double down on that, we just heard a track from Maurice Bown, On My Way Home, featuring Chelsea Baratz on tenor saxophone on that last one, from the album The Mood, which I believe we released in 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like
100
years ago.
It's a long time.
Yeah, anything before the pandemic, you know, like you got PB or AB, you know, AP, excuse me, BP or AP. I'm getting my letters all messed up.
Yes, there it is, BP, and then right before that, Royal Crunk Jazz Orchestra, you know, huge big band led by Russell Gunn, and you know what he does with big band and how he orchestrates this as something else. You know, I guess that kind of leads me, you know, because we have Nabate here in the room, trumpet extraordinaire, and I'm pretty sure in passing you've connected with some of these cats before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, you know. But as a musician, man, you know, what comes to me is the distinct tone and almost the personality that comes out of a musician when they're behind their horn. Like, you know, when I listen to Chelsea, I know the sound. I know that's her. Same thing with you. Same thing with all these great musicians. You know, what are you hearing? You know, can you speak a little bit towards, you know, the tonality and the personality of what it takes to be a musician and how that speaks through their instruments?
Wow, that's a great question. I think for me, it's like the trumpet players that I fell in love with at a young age. You know, I started playing at 8 years old, but I wasn't really serious until I was 12. But I was exposed to the music though through my father, who did a jazz radio show on WBAI while I was in elementary school, junior high school, and high school. And the great thing about trumpet, the sound of the trumpet, like I was in love with Clifford Brown's sound. I was in love with Lee Morgan's sound. I was in love with Blue Mitchell's sound. I was in love with Maurice Andre's sound. You know, Hugh Masekela's sound. Like those were the sounds I was in love with when I was at a young age, and I was lucky to have these records around me. So that, like for me, like I'm just really into that bright tone that sings. You know, kind of like that's what I've gravitated towards, you know, throughout my life. So yeah, so I'm very specific on that tone and how I like to sing through the instrument, you know, as well. So it's really deep for me.
I mean, that's very well said. You know, I really again, it's very distinct sound. When, as you mentioned, your mentors, you know, these artists growing up in that type of situation and hearing the tone, right? Because when you put a record on, you know it's Lee Morgan, right? You know it's these cats from the one single note. And, you know, hearing musicians like yourself and some of the earlier releases that we played here at the top of the show, I was just curious on what resonates with you the most. And I really appreciate, you know, that insight.
And another one, no, I can't believe I forgot Charlie Shavers as well. Charlie Shavers, like my mentor, Jimmy Owens, my trumpet mentor, my musical father, hit me to Charlie Shavers when I was 15. And hearing that intro they did on Strange Fruit with Billie Holiday, that's another, that bright, you know, to make it sing through the instrument, you know, that's, you know, like, so I really hear that. You know?
Do you hear the personalities come through Nabate? Like, you know, so again, you've studied with these guys, you've been around with these guys, you know, how would you correlate their sound and what they're doing on their instrument with the actual personality of that musician?
Oh, well, which guys? The guys I named or the guys that you just played?
Yeah, the
Oh,
same
because the
general.
guys you named, I wish I was hanging out. They were all passed, but I was hanging out with them through spirit through their recordings for sure. Definitely, I wish. Shoot, I hope I can do a seance one day. You know, get the so talk. You know, but with current trumpet players, yes. Definitely, their sounds like with Maurice, you can hear his personality through his sound. With Russell Gunn, you know, his personality through his sound. Those are two great players, and yeah, and it's like everyone is very like the trumpet is a real honest instrument. You know, that's the thing. It's really about truth. And also when you have to play it, you know, it's about truth. It's about, you know, you have to vibe. It's no reed. There's no like a piano where you can just use your finger and touch it and it's cool. You know, like with the trumpet, it's like it's all about that air. It's all about that precision. It's all about the embouchure. It's all about staying in shape and practicing, so you can be able to deliver your way, how you want to play, you know, and it takes diligent practice and diligent strength and diligent concentration and relaxation too, as well. The trumpet, it can be a tense instrument, but when you can relax and get the airflow just relaxing, and I've learned that more as I've gotten older. It's really been it's been easier for me to play as I've gotten older, which is interesting. It's you know, like just from the standpoint, easier to express myself, you know, and yeah.
Brilliant. That's it right there. It's the honesty of the instrument that transmits the character and personality of the individual. It's inescapable, right? There's no way to play the trumpet and not be you.
Yes.
There
yes,
it is.
indeed.
Let's go back to some music. I hear we got a little bit of feedback coming through on this Zoom. We're gonna jump into some music and take a little time here. Let me make sure I got the right cue here. Track 3.
na 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 na. Don't you worry about a thing, girl. You are love. You are love. You gotta know it for yourself. Can't nobody do it. Can't nobody else but you. I love. Yeah.
All right. RC and the Gritz. Pearl, beautiful track. One of those that comes up on Ropeadope playlists very often, I might say, but I never get tired of hearing it. Checking in here on sound. I'm here with Fabian Bown and Mr. Nabate Isles, and it's time for us to chat a little bit about the album In Motion and everything that's happening. What's next? We have a single coming up in early January. Which one is that? Is that Black Girl Magic?
Yes, indeed. January 13th, Black Girl Magic featuring Mumu Fresh, one of the most incomparable female lyricists and just a talented individual, singer, vocalist as well. And my homegirl, Sister Badia Farrar, who I've known back when we were at NYU together, grad school. Very accomplished singer. She sang Broadway at School of Rock and everything. And she wrote the lyrics for Black Girl Magic and everything, and the lyrics and the melody, while Mumu wrote her lyrics, rhyming, giving like an explosive verse on it. So it's an anthem for Black girls, and I'm a father of a Black girl. You know, she's 10 months old, and that inspired me. And Badia is a mother of 2 Black girls, and Mumu is a mother as well. So it's just, it's just something where just to let Black and brown sisters know, women and girls, that they that they're queens, and they have so much going for them, and so much to contribute to this world, and so much that they've given to this world.
So much we can learn. Another accidental tie in there. Isn't Mumu from Dallas, Texas?
Oh, Mumu, she's DC area.
DC. But I believe she appeared on either an RC record or a Shaun Martin record.
I think both. I think both, Louis. It's funny. Oh, okay. It's funny. Your curation went from New York, and then it went to Dallas, right? With not only RC but also Shaun Martin right before that. The Yellow Jacket, one of my favorite tracks, favorite albums here on Ropeadope. But yes, you have a way of doing some crazy things, and now we're going back to New York with Nabate and Black Girl Magic. You know, Nabate, talk to me a little bit more about that, man. Being a new father, 10 months in, and before we got to this segment, you were really talking about your heroes essentially, and growing up and listening. Your father being a DJ and just inspiring you through music to get the sound, to get the tonality and the personalities of this vibrant music. And I know personally that's affected your composition, your writing, and all the thoughts that goes into who was featured on the album, giving people different roles, not just specifically with Black Girl Magic, but in the album in its full essence. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired and encouraged you? What was your thought process in creating this album? What was the inspiration?
Yes. No, thank you for asking that. It was pretty much the sounds I heard in New York, growing up in New York City. I was born in Manhattan, raised in Queens, Left Rack City. So I was around, and being in Harlem, like going to Harlem School of the Arts. My mother, my parents are both born and raised in Harlem, and my grandmother lived in the grand houses and everything. So I would see my grandmother and stay over there in Harlem a lot. And so I just was around so much diversity in cultures, and also New York, growing up in the 80s and 90s in New York City. It's not like it is now. There wasn't no gentrification. There's more communities. There was more like more like great music and great culture coming out at that time. And also you had graffiti, the hip hop really developing through the 80s and 90s, and the 90s was the greatest time for the music, and just being a part of that, and also like being inspired by the sounds I would hear, in Lefrak or Harlem or in the Bronx or in Brooklyn where friends were at. Like I would always travel around the city. So that's what inspired me with the album, is like kind of a soundtrack of like, all the music I heard and came up with, and everything. And my mother, like, she listens to a lot of Motown and a lot of soul records. So that, right there, that was coming from that. And then the jazz aspect from my father and everything, is really, really something else. And that's what the album was about. And I really reflected on that during the pandemic, kind of reflected musically. I was just like creating music, a lot of groove oriented music, but mixed with like arrangements and harmonic, like a variety of harmonies and progressions and things like that. So the pandemic, it was funny. Like I remember linking with Ropeadope, like before the pandemic, I was going to completely do a different type of album. So it kind of worked out that the pandemic happened, and it made me like put me in another direction and everything. And it worked out for the best for sure. So
pandemic feels like a reboot right now. It just feels like hey, everybody, get your priorities in order. Mm-hmm. Take inventory, assess what's important to you, and then now, okay, go. Now, wait. Some people don't quite have. Hold on, just in case you're not really getting it. Reset, reboot, get started, and get ready for the new age. It's amazing, right?
Yes, indeed. Like, yeah, it was good for me because and this is before my daughter was born. Like, so my wife and I got to slow down, and everything. That was important, just to slow down, and it was a really good time for me. I would have to say, just staying healthy, being aware of my health, eating better, a little better, things like that. So it was good.
Yeah. In Motion, January 27th, so less than a month away. We're going to be releasing this out to the world. And coming up, we have a track from the album, which is the official, I guess the premiere, right? It's hasn't been heard. Talk to me a little bit about
just us.
Just us, right? Just us. Oh, and before I forget, I want to shout out Mr. Richard Bennett, who is somewhere lurking in the virtual metaverse as we're currently speaking here. So shout out to Richard Bennett, who just like in real life, his virtual avatar is, I should have known it was him. I should have just known it was him. Mm-hmm. Nabate, Reality, featuring Kardinal Offishall.
Mm-hmm.
Please talk to me and introduce this next track that we're about to listen to.
Yeah, that Caribbean vibe, that was all over New York. My father, his family's from Trinidad, so, but his father passed before I was born, going around, knowing a lot of West Indian friends of mine, and then of course going to West Indian Day Parade, I would go like a few times, during my youth and everything. So I was just thinking of that, like kind of like a street parade, a street fair, kind of thing. And then with Kardinal Offishall, I've always been a fan of his since the 90s. That cat is like so versatile. Him and Busta Rhymes, that same vibe, bringing that reggae, like that West Indian Jamaican vibe, but then having mad vocabulary and great lyricists, and everything like that. They could spit, as well as do like that whole rah, like and everything. So Kardinal Offishall was a big fan of his, like back then. And and then it worked out. Sam Barsh, the producer of this album, like brilliant pianist, composer, songwriter, he was able to link me up to a good friend of Kardinal by the name of Dreddy. He's a producer, and then we were able to link, and Dreddy mentioned Kardinal. I was like, yes, no question. Yes, I didn't even think about Kardinal, you know, and then the rest was history. So,
Wow.
you know, and Kardinal came, if you listen to his verse, it's real introspective, real deep verse, you know, while he's bringing that rah-rah, that party atmosphere to it. So.
Yeah, that's the deceptive thing about this is the track is so much fun, you might miss like the serious lyrics in there as well, right? But first we'll just have fun. Let's go.
Yeah. James Francis is on keys as well, and Eric Carlin on the drums too.
Nice.
You gonna dance? took a blow. Left hook to the heart, I swear to God, it with no rope-a-dope. Took an oath to freedom, I wrote my vows to let it go. Made a promise, keep being honest, 100, let them know. Cause if you lie, they get mad, tell the truth and then they scared. Can't please everybody, hate is coming, baby, get prepared. I'm public enemy #1, cause I chose that one. Tired of fucking fighting, wild and jumping the gun. I told her timing is a motherfucker. The seasons change, you can't always see him coming. Nothing but love, no ill will, wish you the best. Or whatever, backwards never, put that chapter to rest.
Living on the edge, don't care. Standing on the ledge, I'm gonna fly away. Traveling along this reckless way, screaming my song, trying to live the day. My eyes seeing it over. My loneliness died today. I let my loneliness fade to gray.
Ancestors above me, give me the strength to get through the day. When I am weak, make me strong. When I am tired, make me whole. And when I am lonely, make me calm. And when I am sad, cure me. Cure me from ever doubting myself, from ever doubting how much strength I have. Make me stronger through my fears. Give me the ability to rise so high, only the ancestors can hold me.
Why don't you stand up tall?
And you will
stand tall, my friend. Stand tall. Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall, my friend.
Whatever you want to do in your life, you gotta fight for it hard.
Stand tall. Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. Sometimes we fight and argue. So
Won't you come out and play? Dear Prudence, greet a brand new day. The sun is up, the sky is blue. It's beautiful and so are you, dear Prudence. Won't you come out and play? Won't you let me see your smile? Dear Prudence, like a little child. The clouds will be a daisy chain, so let me see your smile again, dear Prudence. Won't you let me see your smile? Look around.
All right, we're back. Thank you for joining us, everyone. If you've just joined in, we are broadcasting on live stream across Ropeadope, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And we are also live in VR on NFT Oasis in the Ropeadope Dream House. And you can come back and see us every Thursday night doing this, either with our musical show or with some very interesting panel discussions around music, activism, healing. And if you do join us in VR, you have the opportunity to walk up to the screen and talk to us and talk to the artists. So we encourage you to do that. There have been people popping in and out in between with the music. I've had the chance to pop in and say hello to a couple, and it's very nice. So we're here with Mr. Fabian Bown from Ropeadope and Mr. Nabate Isles, the great Nabate Isles. So, Mr. Bown, I'll turn the mic over to you.
I love it. Well, we just heard from Mr. Adam Ben Ezra with a song titled Dear Prudence. Before that, Mwenso and the Shakes, No Regrets. And, before we hop into this next track, Nabate, from your upcoming album on January 27th, In Motion, the song that we're going to play is titled Fatherly Bond, which just hearing you kind of share your experience over the last hour, I'm sure that has a lot to do with your connection with your father and, the experiences that you've had growing up and the exposure to music that he's led you on to. But I know you also wanted to give some recognition to the last track that we played to viewers before we get into that. So I'm going to turn the mic right back to you, Nabate.
No, thank you so much. Now I want to give it up to these cats that definitely slayed it on reality. Of course, Kardinal Offishall, and then Sam Barsh, my producer, playing keys on it. James Francis played keys on it as well. Also Eric Carlin on the drums, and also Alicord Pete on percussion, and then Victor Provost on steel pan. Had to bring the authenticity there, the Caribbean vibes and everything. But yeah, no, thank you for having me say that, to give everyone their props on that. And here for Fatherly Bond, this song, it's just about my relationship with my father, but also me becoming a father too, as well, being able to aim and aspire to be the father that my father was to me. So that's so important, and so vital to me as I raise my little daughter Cadence, who I wrote a song for on the album called Perfect Cadence, and everything. So, so Fatherly Bond, this was recorded. We did the live stream of this on August 25th. This is the last track on the album, and the last track recorded as well, and it featured the great Kenny Davis on the bass, the great Eric Carlin again on the drums, again Sam Barsh on Rhodes, Mark Williams, tremendous trombonist, Mark Williams, and I had to give Sam a solo because he didn't solo the whole record, so I had to, because he played a lot of keyboard bass, so I had to get that soulful cat a chance to shine on that, because he has a great relationship with his dad. Like everyone on that had great relationships, their fathers and stuff, and then myself on trumpet. So it was the quintet. It was only quintet for this particular, kind of like most tracks were more than a quintet, to say the least. Everything, but Fatherly Bond, yes indeed. So.
Getting to know you, Nabate, getting to hear your story, getting to read through your materials, getting to listen to the album over and over again. What's really, really sticking out to me is the connection of the people that you have in your life, and really putting them in front, your experiences and the connections with the people. And I'm really excited to share your music with the world. Before we get into the music, is there anything that anything you want the listeners to pick up as they're getting familiar with your music, getting familiar with this album? Is there one thing or a couple things that you want to say that they should be listening out for as they're digging into the music that you're presenting here?
I think just positivity and just forward momentum, moving forward, having energy, and also like just that groove, and being the art of collaboration, the art of camaraderie is so important, and being able to have a unified rhythm So that's what this album is all about, and I just want you to, when you listen to it, just to feel that positivity and everything and experience, and that's what I want to bring through all my music. That honesty, once again, as we were talking about. It's so important in sharing a story and doing it with a smile, and doing it with a bop, So that's key.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to play "Fatherly Bond" from Nabate Isles, and then we're going to go to our outro, which is another track from N Motion called "The Smoke," which is my groove. I could just put it on anytime.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Johnny Greenwood, Tom York, their new group. They were from Radiohead.
The Smile,
the new
nominated,
The
I
Smile
believe, too, right? Nominated for something.
Yeah, that's right. They were. I forgot the category. Yeah, I got to make sure to vote for them.
What are they called? The Grammys. Yeah.
The Grammys.
Right. I want to say thank you, Nabate, for making great music and for also at a very challenging time on planet Earth, trying to bring positivity and some fun into the mix, and we all need a little fun and fun with nutritional value. That's the thing, It's not just cheap fun that lasts a minute. This is an album that's going to bring people joy for a long time to come.
Yes.
And I want to say thank
you.
you.
Not microwavable at all.
Nope.
No, this is not a heat it, need it situation. This is a real kitchen and a real chef right here. So thank you, and thank you to all of the great artists who have graced Ropeadope with their music. We will be back here. Thank you to Mr. Fabian Brown for always holding it down and being positive and promoting this stuff. And we'll be back here. We will be off next week. And then in the outro, you'll see some of the flyers for what we have scheduled in January. I'm going to have to go from memory on this one. So I believe we have Chief Zion Atunde Ajwa and Sarah Elizabeth Charles. We're focusing on her music and some video premieres. We have Mr. Brown. Help me. Help me.
We have, I got you, Lewis. We have a movie premiere actually from one of the guest VR attendants here today, from Richard X. Bennett. Wire Park. That is correct.
Yes.
And I believe that's, I think Sarah Elizabeth Charles and Stretch Music is the week before that, and then Richard's premiere coming up, I think sometime mid-January on Thursday.
And I think we'll follow with a movie premiere from Zela Margosian from Australia. And as we get into February, we have a very exciting new panel discussion coming up in the works with Cole Williams from New Orleans, Louisiana. It'll be about the homeless, the houseless, the homeless issue in the United States. So lots of great things planned. Thank you for tuning in. Come and visit us in VR. And we are going to take it out with a couple of tracks. The first being Fatherly Bond, and the outro music being The Smoke from Nabate Isles. Nabate, once more, thank you so much.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Thanks to Ropeadope. Shout out, and can't wait for this album to come out, for sure. And also, City Winery, January 28th is the record release performance of City Winery NYC, January 28th. So come by, check that out. It's going to be a lot of great guests coming out, and we're going to have a DJ set by Radar Ellis, Terrion Gully, Richie Goods, Sarah Berliner, David Gilmore, James Francis, myself, Mumu Fresh, Badia Farrar, and some surprise guests as well.
Awesome.
Oh, January 28th, City Winery. They can go to the City Winery website and get
tickets
to
get tickets. Yep, City Winery NYC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks again, folks. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.